I'm going to be talking today about when you might want to think about starting your own organization. Other videos talk about when you might want to join an existing organization, how existing organizations might work together, how to make an organization you're part of more diverse, etc. But I want to ask a question that starts before that, which is when might you want to start your own organization, or when might you not even need an organization? This question is actually pretty new to social movement scholarship. For a long time, since really the mid-70s, social movement scholars have thought that an important part of having a successful social movement was having organizations at the base of that movement that could help to deliver resources to activists that might help them be successful. One of the major findings in research about digital technologies, though, is that it's reformatting the relationship between resources, organizations, and activism. And it's doing that in two ways. One way is it's making it so that people can actually create their own activist campaigns without needing to create organizations. And that's mostly what I'm going to focus on today. But there's another way that it's also shaping that relationship, which I'll just mention, which is it's affecting how current organizations and how new organizations connect with their members. But if we think about the specific question of when might you need an organization to forward the cause that you care about, the basic question you should be asking yourself is, will the investments that I make in my time and resources in creating that organization pay off? Now, there are a number of things that scholars have traditionally thought would pay off in creating an organization. Indeed, these are at the base of why we've thought for almost over 40 years that organizations had to be a part of movements. A core thing that social movement organizations have offered is legitimacy. So you may feel that you want an organization if you feel that other actors or the people that you're targeting will respect you more or respond to you better if you have an organizational name as opposed to an individual name. You might feel that the kinds of organizing you're interested in doing is going to be expensive or time intensive, and that you need to collect resources from other people, bring all of those resources together in order to allow you to do those kinds of activities. That'd be another great reason to have an organization. If you want to bring multiple organizations together in some kind of larger coalition, sure, you could try to do that as an individual broker, but often organizations play that role. And so if you're interested in broad coalition building across multiple organizations, that might be another good time to form an organization. It may also be that you want to have potential participants be able to be actively involved in the governance or the internal life of how decisions are made. And organizational structures provide ways of outlining how people can participate in that internal governance structure. You may also be interested in something that social movement scholars have called block recruitment, which means that organizations who have large numbers of members are often able to turn out large numbers of people to participate in particular events by recruiting them in blocks for that event. If you have a large number of events that you want to turn people out for, having organizational members can help you do that. Another great reason to start an organization is that you think that the change that you're interested in will take you a long time to achieve, and you need some kind of form for pushing activism forward that will last a long time. And there's very good research to show that organizations are a good way of creating long-term activism. They create a great deal of longevity. So if any of the things that I just mentioned are really important to your campaign or to your ideas about a campaign, that's a good sign that you may want to think about starting an organization. But I don't want you to jump to that decision too quickly. You should think about what are some of the disadvantages to having an organization. Probably the biggest one is that it can take a lot of time and resources to maintain an organization. Well, first you have to start it, which has its own investment costs, and then you have to maintain it. There are a lot of people who feel that digital tools allow you to do many of the things that organizations have done at much lower costs, and that the additional gain you get by having an organization isn't worth it for the time and resources you spend in maintaining that organization. Some people worry that when you have an organization, the focus of that organization over time can drift. A real concern is that the leaders of that organization get more concerned about the maintenance of the organization itself, keeping it alive, as opposed to larger movement goals. So if you're worried about this kind of drift, that might be something that makes you think twice before you form an organization. It's also possible that forming an organization, depending on how you collect your resources, may affect the kinds of actions that you're able to undertake. So for instance, if you form an organization that eventually has nonprofit status, there are kinds of activities that you can't undertake while you maintain that status. There are also kinds of activities that you might undertake as an organization that could actually get your organization in legal trouble. And so if you don't mind having some constraints on the kinds of actions that you might take, and the benefits of an organization look very appealing, that may be a great decision. But if you want to free your hand in what kinds of tactics you choose over time, an organization may be a liability. The overall question I would suggest that you ask yourself is, are the benefits of having an organization, things like legitimacy, the ability to gather resources, democratic governance within an organization, do those things outweigh the significant concerns like the time and cost of managing an organization? I'm sure you'll make a great decision, and good luck in your cause.